The award-winning Channel 2 newsroom. Complete Bay Area news coverage. The KTVU Channel 2 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Marilyn Getas. Leading our news this morning, a top U.S. general is worried impoverished North Korea may resort to selling weapons-grade plutonium to terrorists for much-needed cash. General Leon Laporte says the communist state now appears to have enough raw material to make at least a half-dozen atomic bombs, and he fears North Korea's economic crisis could lead to an unprecedented nuclear nightmare if the government decides to do business with international terrorists.
In Washington state this morning, the FBI is trying to determine whether 14 people arrested in the Seattle area have ties to terrorist groups. Those arrests took place during an all-day operation yesterday. Most of the men are Muslim immigrants from Africa, and there was information linking them to Al-Qaeda. But now, one FBI source believes the men may only be facing bank fraud and weapons charges.
Big changes at the CIA are causing some major concerns for the senior senator from California. California Senator Dianne Feinstein sent a letter to new CIA Director Porter Goss saying his plans to overhaul the agency may not be in the nation's best interest. Specifically, she's worried about the email Goss sent to agency employees this week. It appears to urge them to serve the White House in any way they can. Feinstein is a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee. And Senator Barbara Boxer did something remarkable on Election Day that almost went unnoticed. As expected, Boxer easily captured her third term in the U.S. Senate with a sweeping victory over Bill Jones. But she also got the third most votes of any candidate in the U.S., behind only President Bush and John Kerry. Boxer received 6.4 million votes, and that is also 200,000 more votes than Kerry received in California.
Just days after being nominated to be the next Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice is having surgery. Rice will have a minor surgical procedure today related to a uterine fibroid condition. The surgery will only require a local anesthetic. Her condition is not cancerous, nor is it life-threatening. Rice will have to stay in the hospital overnight, but is expected to go home tomorrow.
Oakland Senator Don Perrotta is promising to fully cooperate with the FBI as it looks into his business activities. Sources say Perrotta's friend and longtime political associate Lily Hu is one of the key figures in the corruption case. So far, the senator has had very little to say publicly about the investigation. And we do want to bring you a developing story at this hour. We do understand that there is a fire burning in downtown San Francisco at the Transamerica Pyramid building. We do have a crew on the way, and of course, we will bring you all the details as they become available. And if you want to track this story, you can always go to our website at ktvu.com.
I wanted to write a book that affirmed his life and said to him and to the country, this is a remarkable man. Sure. And as I've gone around the country, Marilyn, people line up and say, sign it to Big Tom, Big Fred, Big Al, Big Pat. There's a lot of big guys.
Connecting here,
yeah.
And not just men and their relationships with their dads, but for women as well. I know I have felt personally touched by this because I think you relate to your dad as a contemporary, as equals. And do you think this is really missing from a lot of father-son relationships today?
I do. When I read the book, when I wrote the book, I reread it. And I realized I had written it as much for my son, who's 18, as for my dad. So I added a new chapter because my son is growing up much differently than I did. A lot more privilege and access. And I say to him all the time, Luke, you're always, always loved, but you're never, never entitled. Right. My dad, Big Russ, would say, the world doesn't owe you a favor. But my dad he has a wonderful expression, nose to the grindstone and hope for the best. Hard work and optimism, and he's never lost them.
And would you say, even though your son may be growing up a little differently and your life is very different from your father's, it really gets back to the fundamentals here, that you have to go back, those values don't change. Life may change, but the values don't change.
I stand on my father's shoulders, my son stands on mine. Hard work, preparation, discipline, accountability. Father Sturm at Canisius Jesuit High School in Buffalo put me against the locker. I said, Father, please, don't you have any mercy? He said, Russert, mercy's for God, I deliver justice.
Wow.
That defines accountability. When I went home and complained to my dad that the priest had picked on me, you're grounded 2 weeks. That was a neighborhood watch system that worked.
Yeah.
Parents and teachers were in sync together.
Isn't that incredible? Really about the legacy of a father giving to his son. Thank you so much for that.
Pleasure.
If you work outside the home, your worth is usually measured by the size of your paycheck. But what if you stay home with the kids? What's that worth? Well, you can find out with the help of your computer.
All right, Tom, what are you going to eat?
Meet Sally Russell, Lutherville mother of 5.
What are you going to eat, sweetie? French toast?
Yeah. Just because she stays home with the kids doesn't mean she lives a life of leisure. Like other stay-at-home moms, Sally is on the clock 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Tommy! Where's Tommy? Tommy, you need to eat your breakfast.
For Sally, the work never ends. There's always laundry to load, bills to pay, a dog to feed.
Even the dog has to eat.
And once breakfast is over, it's upstairs to get the kids ready for school.
Well, I think you have, like, candy in your hair. Okay, guys, have a good day.
This is a typical day, but ask Sally what all the feeding, folding, and chauffeuring is worth. She couldn't tell you. So we decided to find out using a special setup on our WBAL website that actually lets a stay-at-home mom calculate her worth. We had Sally enter in how many hours she spends each week on specific chores. Then using salary information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we got our numbers. 112 hours a week for daycare alone would net her more than $1,000. 8 hours for house cleaning adds up to more than $90. 8 hours of grocery shopping, $120 a week. And the grand total?
Wow. I'm worth almost $2,000 a week.
What do you think about those numbers?
Well, I'm shocked.
That adds up to roughly $100,000 a year. And that doesn't include her duties as household manager and interior decorator.
It's a lot of money, a lot of money. And I think that I do more than that's on this list. Yeah, but I guess that boo-boo will feel better with the Band-Aid, huh? Okay.
To find out your worth as a stay-at-home mom, go to our website at the WBALchannel.com right after this newscast and click on What's Mom Worth? And keep in mind those figures don't include the value and all the love and worry that really can't be measured by money. Marilyn Getas, WBAL 11 News.